drinking when you start the broadcast. That's a bad play, isn't it?
No, it's a great play. And
Okay.
thank you for saying that right as we started the broadcast. But guys, welcome back. It's the 2020 season. We have football. Holy shit. So if there's football, there needs to be podcast. And if there's podcast, there needs to be Chris of the Bengals and Mike of the Vikings. So hope you guys are doing well. Chris, sounds like you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Football's on. Got a drink. Had my food. I mean, it doesn't get better than this.
Exactly. I mean, please also enjoy the background I have here. It's the finest that Marriott has to offer. So I'm also a walking, talking billboard for them right now. So as Chris just posted in the chat, we really don't have anything to talk about because there's not really anything to talk about because there hasn't been any activity. So we're just going to get on and shoot the shit about 6 to 8 of the teams, and that's going to be fun. And if something happens live in the game, we're going to talk about it. But nonetheless, it's time to get this going again. Any other thoughts, Chris?
Not many thoughts. I'm curious what teams you want to pick out because we have not planned this out at all. So, yeah, let's dive in. Who do you want to discuss?
Let's see. I'm going to go random here.
Random teams.
Random. Let's talk about the Texans.
Oh, Charlie's team.
Charlie's team. So I'm checking to see if there's anything crazy here. I've seen Andrew Luck on a couple teams right now. Here he is for $4 million. Like, I see teams kind of hanging on for hope. I think I'm one of those teams in a couple of leagues, but is $4 million a reasonable thing to be bidding on Andrew Luck right now?
He's not coming back. Like, if there was a player I could bet money on to not return to the NFL, I'd say Andrew Luck would be at the top of that list. There's no point for him to come back. He dealt with injuries the last 2 years of his career. He was out before then, pretty much. He's just mentally done. He's not coming back. I would not spend a penny on Andrew Luck in this league on a roster spot.
But what if I wanted to come back?
What was that?
What if I wanted to come back?
Yeah, he's not coming back. No.
And then let's see, going down.
I don't know. So I guess it's only 1 year. I mean, he's still got he's got about $19 million in cap space, so it doesn't harm his team to hold on to him.
It's okay. I mean, he does have the greatest albatross contract in the league right now.
No. Well, the good news is there's only 4 years left on Corey Davis's contract. I mean, it's really down there.
Well, the good news is he can renegotiate this year.
He can renegotiate for
years to $8 million.
So he'll sit at 4 years forever on his contract because he'll be renegotiated. I've drank too much already. Renegotiated every year until he retires. Get him down to like $2 million eventually.
Yeah, basically. Let's see here. But I mean, otherwise, good set of receivers. Hurst and Croft. I mean, not a bad team, not an upsetting team, but definitely one of those where the first things that kind of jump out at you on the table is like, wow, that's jarring.
It's not horrible. I actually made a trade with him. I sent him Dunlap. It was going to be kind of his top defensive end. That was for Curtis Samuel way back at the end of last year or early in the spring. I think he's probably going to get the better of that end of the deal based on what I've heard about Curtis Samuel so far at training camp, but we'll see. He's got good receivers. I mean, Allen Robinson is good. Shepard will be good in here. I mean, we make fun of Corey Davis, but he'll still score points, just not 16 million worth of points. But it will be an interesting year for him in the division that he's in. Because I remember looking through the guys he's competing against, and he's actually got a shot up against, I think, the Colts to take that division on there. And I have to give it to Texans because Texans does not currently have Trubisky rostered. It's his competitor that does. So, I don't know. He'll be in the playoffs. It's a fine team.
That's true. Yeah, and I
Maybe
mean,
I'm just in too good of a mood, but I think the team looks fine.
well, I mean, Trubisky is currently the starter, so who knows? And David Johnson already has one of the touchdowns. This may be less.
That is true. Now,
And Kelsey's got the other one. So right now, I mean, only team that has a touchdown from a skill position is the Colts.
maybe we can't make fun of the other Chris anymore because he's apparently knows what he's doing.
Oh, we can always make fun of the other Chris.
Okay, good.
I mean, we can always make fun of all Chris's. I think that goes without saying. All right.
Sorry, I derailed it. We were talking about Texans, not Colts.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's talk about the 49ers.
Ooh, okay.
This is a fun one. I mean, I think we talked about this in the offseason a lot. About a lot of things going either really good or really bad for this team. And I think most of them went really bad, unfortunately.
Well, yeah. I mean,
let's be honest.
I mean,
Ronald Jones probably lost his job. Marlon Mack probably lost his job. Jared McKinnon.
Jared McKinnon. Job. Yep. It's
Ty Montgomery. I mean, it doesn't look like Kamara's going to hold out. So, but hey, he's got a lot of tight ends. Holy shit, he's got 3 starting tight ends. Noah Fant, Rob Gronkowski, and Chris Herndon.
Okay, that is true. Wow, I didn't even realize that looking at the team. See, this is how you know I'm not prepared because I'm so used to just looking at the points from last year for each player and then kind of gauging off of that at what I should focus on. Now I actually have to read every player's name first.
Well, there are no points on this right now.
So. There's no points on it right now, so I've actually got to go with some knowledge around the player. Yeah. I can't remember when Gronk was picked up. Was that back in the auction when that occurred? Yeah. Or
$1.5 million. That can't be what he was picked up for.
It had to be back during last year, right? Because freaking Fells went for $15 million in the auction.
Holy shit! March of this year, he went for $1.5 million in the auction. Wait, how did he go for that in March of this year? That doesn't make any sense. We had free agency before the draft. I thought free agency was after the draft.
Was he not actually nominated during the auction?
It's 2020. 49ers won an auction for $1.5 million.
We're all idiots.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will agree that a lot of stuff went poorly for this team on the offense. On the defense, though, I'd argue he's turned out pretty well here. He had a solid draft when that went down. I mean, he's got a new defensive tackle in Kinlaw. That guy should be a beast for San Francisco with their line that they've got there. He went Patrick Queen for Baltimore. They needed an inside linebacker, so he shored that up. He's already got Jalen Smith sitting there. So I don't know. It's very unfortunate what happened to his running backs because this could have been a very strong team. Had stuff went a little bit differently in the real NFL for him. But
that's true.
Yeah, tough break on the running backs. Unfortunately, looking past this year, he's got Breeze on his final contract, although he does have Foles on a 3-year deal. I didn't even notice that until I looked back up. So if the common theory or the common idea ends up happening and Foles takes over the job in Chicago, he'll be playing 2 quarterbacks this year, which can help a lot if one of them has a bad year.
I mean, you're just also cheering against Trubisky as much as possible. So
that I am because I need to. That trade has to end up good for me. If it doesn't, everything I know about fantasy football is wrong. And isn't there a side bet between like him and Matt on who's going to be the starter by week 4 in Chicago?
Let's see. There's a prop bet.
Did that end up happening?
Yeah, so Charger says full starting in Chicago by week 3. Colts says no, $10 bet.
$10.
10
Big
bucks
money.
on the line. Could be very important. So speaking of teams and quarterbacks and unexpected results, let's talk about the Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots. Okay.
But again, this is a fun one. I did not expect this team to be as put together as it is right now.
Yep.
Defense is not shabby. The offense is better than I expected. It's not good, but it's better than I expected.
Okay. Huh.
Like, we thought they were going to have a starting quarterback. Did you think it was going to be Tyrod Taylor?
I always expected Taylor to start this year, like after the dust settled, after the NFL draft. I don't expect him to hold it for long. I'd say like week 6. I'd expect a different QB starting for the Chargers. I did actually think Stidham was gonna be the Patriots QB.
Yeah, I did too.
I have him in a couple leagues. I didn't pay a lot for him, but I had the expectation, especially in a few Superflex leagues, where it's like, oh, I've got a free third QB now, and that has not proved to be true at all. He kind of nailed it with his receivers on the draft, at least in my opinion. The 105 and
Judy and Edwards.
Judy and Edwards, those are going to be solid guys for him. He's only got one running back that's actually playing in the NFL currently.
So, I mean, let's be honest. He doesn't really have a running back, and he doesn't have a long-term quarterback. But every other position.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's truly the, besides from that, how did you enjoy the play, Mrs. Lincoln? But
Yep. So he does have 2 firsts for next year. He's got the Falcons first along with his own.
I mean, that Falcons first is going to be Trevor Lawrence, no doubt.
The Falcons?
I'm joking.
Maybe if he breaks both his legs and then loses his throwing arm in a tragic accident. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm a minute behind you on the game, but
I'm going to keep my mouth shut for a second because.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah.
Don't tell me. You'll see my reaction. So yeah, back on this team. Sorry. The other major issue is he only has 32 players on his squad right now. So he's 8 short of the cap, which is a huge deal to me anyway, because you want as many bodies out there as possible trying to accumulate points. And it's not like he doesn't have cap room available. So I don't know if he's trying to tank. I think he's got too much talent to tank successfully. So in that case, why not try to hit the playoffs and try to fill out your roster fully?
No, I mean, and that's kind of his MO is often he will be underutilized in terms of his roster construction. He's got 30, and Parkinson is still an IR. So he could feasibly add 9 players without much issue and has $38 million in cap. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing here is players who have cap space adding cap space, but then the very likely situation next year that the cap doesn't go up, that we have a flat cap or that of the bylaws. So have people started planning for that or otherwise?
I'm actually really looking forward to seeing our cap stay the same or even shrink. It's going to be a lot of fun for those of us that there's a few of us that try to ride our cap as close to the top as possible every year, and this may screw up some of my extension, and yeah, otherwise my player plans might not all fit in the static cap scenario.
So I'm pretty sure you've caught up. So it wouldn't be week 1 if Sammy Watkins didn't have a touchdown.
I did catch up. Yeah, that. The hope will start again. People will overpay for Watkins, and then he'll disappoint for the rest of the year. Is what's going to happen.
I need to sell him on like 3 or 4 this week.
Yep.
on. This is a sign. This is a sign of things to come. What are you talking about?
Did I send out the wrong StreamYard link, or does nobody actually read the GM's chat during the game?
That's the is that the I think that's the join link. Let me.
Yeah, I wanted people to join. I need people to have ideas because I don't have any right now. Like I said, I haven't followed football until like the last week or so, and now I'm pumped that it's here.
So I'm looking now, and let me see. Is this? I thought it was. So I'm trying to think back in terms of the draft. So I thought I had traded 101 to the Broncos, and he must have traded that into a bunch of 21 picks. Is that right? Am I remember?
No, yeah, that pick moved a bit here. Let's see if I can find it.
To the Ravens. That's right. He went to the Ravens eventually. I traded to the Broncos, and he traded to the Ravens.
Yes, he ended up getting the wow. So he sent the 101 and the 320. And I'm going to ignore the pieces that don't matter here. But on the other side, he got the 124, 127, and the 2021 round 1 draft pick from the Ravens back.
Oh my goodness. This is what I get for not paying attention. It is not a Watkins touchdown, apparently.
Okay, I just saw that replay. Okay. So is this a Edwards-Helaire touchdown here?
I don't know yet.
I hate streaming it. It's too late. Everybody else knows before me.
So let's see.
Oh, Helaire got
I was going to talk about the Broncos, but if they don't have Burrow, then that's less of a fun topic. How about the Raiders?
Raiders. Ooh, I like talking about the Raiders.
So this is a fun one because much like I helped set up Goose with Daniel Jones last year, I helped set up the Raiders with Drew Lock.
You're a kind man, just giving out QEs.
Who wants a starting quarterback? Actually, no, he drafted Drew Lock, and I think I was trying to actively trade him Joe Flacco. Like, hey, you need your bridge. And I think finally he relented because he was tired of talking to me.
I'm sorry, I'm caught up. It is Watkins touchdown.
Yeah, it ended up being one.
Just a couple plays later. Sorry, continue. You gave
literally within moments of me saying it's not a Watkins touchdown. It was like moments later. So that $16 million for Latavius Murray is looking like a better idea than it did initially.
Well, yeah, you could look at the 1-year contracts on here. $16 million for Latavius Murray, $17 million for Larry Fitzgerald, and then a $16 million Darren Fells contract. Which, holy God. And I get his thought process because I've chatted with him a bit, and I don't think he'll be upset letting everyone know. But again, his plan in the auction was get enough 1-year guys to compete with the rest of his roster because he had a ton of cap space on there. And then I think he realized that he won't be able to compete this year with the state that some of the top teams are in, and began trading them off. So I would not be surprised to see him move Latavius Murray or Fitzgerald later in the year to a team that's trying to win now and can fit one of those guys in there.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe even earlier than that because there's a plentitude of cap space.
Yeah. He's got a lot of picks next year. He's got his first and Eagles first. He's got his second and the Chiefs second and the Ravens second. He's got 2 thirds. He's got 3 fourths. He's got tons of draft capital. He's got Lamb. I'm a huge fan of Lamb over in Dallas, even though it's crowded. Yeah, it'll be a fun team. Both Goose and I have traded with him recently. Both trades have ended up fairly differently. Who's got AP, who was then released, but now has landed with the Lions. So I think that is a hit to AP's value, even though you should still have some value in best ball. Yeah.
What do you mean? Playing with the Lions be a bad thing?
How could it ever go wrong on the Lions? No.
Speaking of, maybe we should talk about them next.
You talk about the next. Is there anything else to say about his team? He doesn't have a lot of big guys currently. He's got
Neil Hunter on IR, so
yeah.
I mean, if that's going to be a half season and full season injury, that really sucks because that was one of the things that the team could do to rebuild off of. He probably could have pulled a first rounder for him later in the year, but now it's going to be a much tougher thing to do if he's hurt.
Oh, I think he could have got much more than a first rounder for Hunter, or depends on where the first rounder was going to land.
I mean, come on, I'm trying to negotiate here. Shut up.
I've tried to acquire Hunter multiple times, being a Vikings fan and wanting another defensive end in this league. And I could have acquired him last offseason, but the price would have been so high. I would have got flamed for it continually in the league chat had I went through with it. So
counterpoint, you get flamed for everything anyway. So
I do get flamed for everything. I think it's very unfair. People treat me unfairly.
Speaking of people being treated unfairly, we got the Lions.
The Lions. Oh, yes, because they're in your division. And, yeah.
I'm so sorry is all I can say about this team. And when I say it, I'm not saying it to Nick. I'm saying it to Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
There's nobody else.
So the Lions had players. I feel like he went on a fire sale late last year, if I remember correctly.
No, you're right, absolutely. And I was trying as part of that fire sale to get myself some Kenyon Drake. And it could get work. It's all
so, wow. Okay. Yeah, there's not much else, is there? He's got Bradley Chubb for linebacker. Good start.
I mean, it's not a good sign that he's got a COVID opt-out and an IR player still active. Might be something that our Fearless leaders want to take a look at. Yeah, this is. I know
this team looks rough right now. I don't know what the right move is.
I mean, he's got to move Chubb and Dupree and Drake and tear it all down. But hey, it's a good thing he's got Marcus Peters at $7 million at corner. Ouch. All right, that's depressing.
Let's move on to another team. If you're watching this and you're the Lions owner, you got to make some moves. You got to sell your guys that you got now, get some picks because.
You know what? Let's talk about a team that will truly enjoy the fact we talked about his team, and that means we'll talk about it later. Let's talk about the Falcons.
Okay.
Because if we talk about them now, we don't really have to talk about them later, right?
That is true. Let's get out of the way.
Yeah. Let's do it quick. Do it while we're prepared. I think it's better that way.
Yep.
So, Kyler Murray's not bad.
No. Decent QB. I mean, his running backs are a little weak.
Jacobs.
Right receiver's pretty terrible, too. And I don't think he has a real starting tight end on the team. So the offense looks pretty crappy.
Seriously, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, so one of my favorite parts about this is that Josh Gordon is making more than Deebo Samuel and Calvin Ridley combined.
Yeah, that's a luxury.
His most expensive his most expensive wide receiver is Devontae Parker. So,
Yep.
you know,
It's a
the
luxury
offense, I don't think there's much to talk about there. And he's stacked his defense with depth. So, 14 million cap space still. Not a bad situation to be in.
Yep. So is there?
Yeah, he might make 8 and 8.
Yeah, he'll squeak in as a wild card. We say that now, and the year hasn't even started because this team could look. Any of our teams could look drastically different with 2 or 3 bad injuries. So, but he's definitely set up well.
Yeah.
I mean, the weakest point, like if I look through it, weakest point probably linebacker. If I had to pick one, or cornerback, but cornerbacks don't matter. They're the only people that don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Tremaine Edmonds, which should take care of him in the near term. Nate Kennard.
Yep. Again, I said if I had to pick one, it's linebacker, but the rest of this team is.
He also got bailed out with Clowney.
He did.
Yeah, like I said, he might make 500.
Yeah.
Speaking of making 500, the Cowboys, that would be a successful season.
I love it. Just moving on. All right, Cowboys.
Well, I mean, we don't want to talk about the Falcons.
No,
we just did it because we had to. We don't have to for a long time.
There is one critical thing with his team that we don't mention enough, and that's the fact that he's in the NFC, which is great because it leaves the AFC as open as it's ever been.
I mean, is it?
Yeah, it is. There's probably 5 of us that are really good teams in the AFC, and we'll all make the playoffs.
True.
Yep.
But the NFC is, a little bit of a more challenging situation to be in.
Okay. Cowboys? Interesting team.
So let's see. Phillip Rivers? Cam Akers? Darrell Henderson?
Yep. It's really nothing at wide receiver.
Bell is totally going to be a thing this year. So is Anthony Miller. And so is the Minnesota tight end.
So I don't mind the Minnesota tight end stack. If there's one thing the Vikings do well,
because you're a Vikings fan,
it's they play their tight end. Yes, because I'm a Vikings fan.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're also a Vikings fan.
So it's unfortunate news with Von Miller. That hurts his linebackers quite a bit.
So this is a pet peeve of mine with MFL. Like, he's already been basically declared out for the year.
Yeah.
Why is he an 0-7-I?
I don't know.
Like, what do we have to do here? And then some youth on defense.
I've noticed both his rostered safeties are free agents currently, so that's a minor hole in his team.
Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if a trade.
Very bold strategy. Okay.
No, I mean, and look, I was going safety hunting earlier today, and somebody's done a very good job of making sure that there are no starting safeties or starting DNs in the waiver pool right now.
Yep, I ran into that issue when my Chargers safety managed to kill himself again by blowing out. Was it his knee or ankle? Not sure what it was this year. Yeah. So once again, I'm short on safety. I went hunting, I think, about a week before you, and I had to pull from a very, very, very thin pool. So I ended up grabbing some Packers safety nobody's heard of and a safety that plays special teams. So I'm banking on the special teams points to fill that gap. And I managed to grab another safety that's already on IR. So I'm doing great so far.
It could be worse.
It could be worse looking at these teams. These teams are depressing me.
All right. Last but not least, let's go back up here to the AFC because I think we've done the Texans, we've done the Patriots, we've done the. Did we do the Broncos? What was the Raiders? Did we do the Raiders?
We did the Raiders instead.
We did the Falcons. We did the Cowboys. We did the 49ers. I think we haven't done anything for the AFC North yet. So let's talk about the Ravens.
Choose out of all the teams you could pick to choose the Ravens.
Because I'm picking the crappy teams this episode.
I guess. All right.
Oh my God, the fun continues. So kind of went heavy on the draft, and kind of looks like you might have gone 50-50 here. Burrow looks good. He needs Freeman to sign someplace. Jefferson's looking good. TPJ is not looking great.
What he should honestly do again, since he was kind of take mode, is he should go ahead and sell off Hyde to anybody that wants a partially starting running back. He should sell Freeman as soon as he gets a job. Anybody that's old and productive should go. Which admittedly isn't a huge amount of players, but
I mean, you probably just up. I think Burrow is wasted on his roster right now, but if memory serves, he's a bit of a LSU fan.
That is true.
And he got Devin White on his team.
So he does have to make Burrow work because, again, he sent his 2021 pick first for Burrow, along with 2 late firsts this year when he acquired him. He still has the Texans first for next year, but
the realistic aspect of this is there's no way to make this team work right now without trading off of Burrow.
But again, not every team is going to be turned around in 1 to 2 years. So you just might have to deal with the fact that he's going to put Burrow on an actual regular salary contract, not his rookie contract by the time he's competing. So you might have to look 2-3 years out for something like this. And if Burrow is as good as they say he's supposed to be, he's going to be middle of his prime when hopefully everything else comes together. I know you like to sell everything and time it all perfect so you get all your guys peaking at the same time, but so far it hasn't quite worked out yet for you. You just continue to climb the mountain and you keep making yourself slide back a bit every year as you rebuild.
That's fair. I mean, but I've held on my first in those years.
Yep. I mean, it will take time. I wanted to, like, your moves you made during the auction. I was not a fan of you selling the farm again to get more picks. I like your running backs you've ended up with, and I think it's ended up working out well. But you had already hit with so many of your players and picks that you had done. And now you're just throwing yourself back into the risk again to try it once more.
I'm happy.
Well, I mean, I'd be happy too. You got JT, Dobbins, and Barkley, along with Tua. Might not be
Taylor.
I said JT.
Yeah, so JT, Dobbins, Barkley, Kelly.
Nope.
Like I said, I'm feeling really good about my offense. My defense, we'll see where that goes up. But that's something for a different episode. So,
all right.
That's 8 of the team. What else should we talk about?
Ooh.
Any suggestions? No suggestions.
I don't even think anybody cares.
People suck.
They do.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll come back into this.
All right. Let's do week 1 overreactions or game 1 overreactions. Let me look at the current game day points that we've got going on here. This looks like we're doing it. Because as of right now, Colts looks like a genius with his players hitting. Kelsey, David Johnson, Trubisky is going to start. If Trubisky has a career year, I don't know. So many people are going to eat crow out over that. Mainly me and Matt and Goose, really everyone else that has ragged on Trubisky for the last year and a half.
So you've got 25 points already, but none of that's from one single big source.
Who's my...
Let's see, Chargers and Mahomes.
I don't know. I wish they did more games on the first Thursday. Should be a doubleheader, one after the other. But I shouldn't complain. We got football back.
Thank God. This always cracks me up when I look at the best ball stuff. So the best ball starters without any games being played for the Colts: Boykin, Deshaun Hamilton, and BC Johnson. His bench: DJ Moore and Greg Ward. It's like and 3 free agent receivers. So you know what? I wonder who has the most free agents or free agent players on their team right now.
So you're really asking who has the most neglected team?
I think it's Pittsburgh. Oh, man. I didn't realize Jeremy really took a hit. I mean, we'll see what happens with Fournette, but $24.6 million over 3 years locked up on Fournette. And who knows what happens with him. That's not a fun thing.
That is.
And then 3 years on Randall Cobb. Holy shit. And 2 years on Alshon Jeffrey.
So
look at Jeremy's situation.
Yeah, I'm pulling up this team. Oh, we can talk about him here. So he's got an aging Aaron Rodgers, who looks like a shell of his former self over the last year. We'll see what he does this year, but the real-life Packers really did nothing to improve his situation. He's really got only Adams to throw to. The Jeremy Packers are paying him $35 million for 2 more years. Chubb's only at 4.8, but he's gonna get a payday here once he has to extend him. You said Fournette's at $24 million.
Well, I mean, the nice thing is he's got the 5th-year option, and then I think it's the end of the 5th-year option when he has to pay him. So he's got 1 more year of this price.
Well,
but the 5th-year option.
I believe don't you have to do the 5th-year option at the start of their 4th year? Okay.
Yes, but the price doesn't jump to the 5th-year option rate until after the 4th year. So realistically, he's going to be paying a little over $5 million for Chubb next year, and then it'll jump the year after.
Okay, so here's something we should probably point out, like with the 5th-year option coming up, because it's going to affect almost all of the owners at some point or another. You do the 5th-year option at the start of their 4th year. If you want to keep them, you're almost forced to extend them at the end of that 4th year, though, as well, right? Because at the start of the 4th year, they only have 1 year left on their contract. You have to use the 5th-year option, but if you want to do the regular extension, you still have to do that year. Otherwise, if you wait till the 5th year, they're back down to 1 year remaining. You can't extend them any longer.
So here's the nuance there. So going back to Chubb, so I think it's a 5% increase. That's going to be right a little over $5 million. He would need to exercise his 5th-year option, and that option's, I think, going to be based off of the average of, I think, the top 10 running backs.
Yep.
And then he can extend his 5th-year option rate.
Yep.
But for this year and next year, it's 4.8 and then like 5.2.
Yeah, I guess I'm confused of when that salary gets changed, because he's still going to have the space next year when he does
that 5th year.
But you can't extend in the 5th year. You have to extend in their 4th year after you give them the 5th year option. Otherwise, there's not enough years remaining on the contract to do that extension. Right?
So this is something I asked the commissioners about a couple of times. And if he does the 5th year option next year, he will be making $5.2 million. He'll have his 4th year and his 5th year option, so technically 2 years. So he'd be able to extend. But I'm fairly certain that his extension salary would be based off of his 5th year salary, 5th year option salary, not his 4th year salary. But again, I think that's something
So it's going to balloon even more because you got to give him that 5th year, which will bump him up to the top average of the top 10 players, and then you do the regular extension on top of that, right?
It's going to get
really you're breaking up. I did not hear that. You want to go through that again?
That's really fast. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I lost you for a minute there. I didn't hear anything after I said, I believe the extension's off the 5th year. So, like, if you average, let's say the average of their top 10 running back salaries is $20 million. Let me do that. So if you extend off of the,
I don't think so. I think it's purely off that 5th year.
Okay.
So we shall see.
I just feel like with the rookies, people are going to have to do the 5th year option for, and then the extensions, and with the cap not increasing, we could actually see a few teams equalize out if they're not carefully managing their cap space. Some of those
I think we start seeing teams get pretty aggressive. I think this year we get in the right position for next year because you can't really wait or else you lose.
Yep. Or you could be like me and you just trade away every first-round pick you have and other rookie picks and grab players that already have been extended and just play that way. Avoid the ballooning salaries.
Hey, careful. I renamed a team Vets with Warts today because they had that strategy. So completely on accident, but, one of those things that stuck.
No, yeah, right. Sorry. Back to Packers, they did definitely take a hit this offseason. I think that NFC North is going to be more back to you and Goose duking it out with Jeremy trying to play, spoiler against you guys when he matches up.
Honestly, though, and I know as soon as I say something, it's going to reverse. So, you're welcome, Jeremy. He's got Rodgers. Chubb just had Hunt got re-signed by Tampa. Cobb doesn't look like he's the lead guy everyone thought he was in Houston. Or anything. Kirkwood is on the IR, and Sutton just had a setback in practice today. And then his tight ends are Boyle and McDonald. Should he be looking to sell Chubb for whatever he can get for him?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. My first instinct is to say no. His team is still good enough to compete. But I also know deep down that this team isn't good enough to advance deep into the playoffs. Oh, man. Again, you stick them in a division that doesn't have Goose and yourself in it with your guys' two teams. And this team's probably as good as some of the teams that are going to win divisions in weaker areas in this league. But we don't live in a vacuum. Based on where his team's at and the division it's in, I think he needs to make a call on whether he wants to sell some future picks to try to reinforce what he's lost out on, or sell his current stuff to go ahead and, like you said, sell Chubb, I don't know if he could sell Fournette. Huh. I don't know.
Insane.
I'd probably try to make that team work. I'd see if I could sell one or two players into multiple pieces. He's still got.
I feel like this is one of our tankers is going to ease on and say, okay, I'll trade you, James Robinson and, anything else I can kind of scrape together to get Cortland Sutton from you.
Yep. Yeah, there's just enough talent there to make me not want to break this team down. Which is so funny because last year you guys were all like in a dead heat. Like it was just a slugfest in the NFC North. And now we're saying Lions have completely tanked. And we're saying Packers is right on the edge of whether or not he should go for it.
Man.
I don't know. This team stresses me out looking at it.
Yeah, that's why I started looking at other teams.
We're all over the place tonight.
I mean, that was kind of the idea here. We didn't want to set to a specific plan.
All right, let's talk about last team. Let's go over to the Chargers.
All right, the Chargers.
Because he made some big moves that trying to get more youthful this offseason. And he also, what looks like he's going to hit on Gibson on that 129 pick based on how everything's went for the Washington football team.
I have plenty of Gibson, and I hope he's right, but I don't know what to think about that.
Well, to be fair, I've got like half that backfield with McKissick and Barber right now, which is probably the worst half between them and Gibson and Love. But points are points, and if they stay muddled and undecided, it could be. I don't think Gibson fully breaks out this year. I think if he, I don't know, what is it? What's the stat that's always thrown around? He's got like 37 carries in college total, something like that. So he's like the epitome of like the Spark U champion with the workouts and where people think he can move around to.
Right. I'm curious to see what happens with his defense.
He is paying his defensive ends a massive amount of money between Agba and Griffin.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that 9 linebackers?
Yep.
A lot of emphasis on defense.
I don't know. Matt took a gamble when he went younger this year, and he needs a couple of linebackers to hit to be as good as he's been in previous years. He needs Willie Gay to be good. Which, speaking of, he should be playing tonight. Has he done anything yet? Let's go pull that up. Nothing so far tonight. I don't know if he's playing or not. He hasn't recorded a stat yet.
Yeah, nothing really.
Oh, I see why I was so pumped about the Robinson touchdown that got called back. He's got Robinson on his team. Interesting. I don't know. Start of the New Year's, I always got so many question marks. Like everyone knows how they think their team should perform on paper. And then week 1 will happen and we'll make wild overreactions to everything that occurs. And then 3 more weeks will pass and we'll think we have it figured out. But I don't know.
I mean, that's half the fun.
It's
figuring out what's the overreaction, what's the underreaction, and what's the reaction you wish you had made.
But yeah, so you were a benefactor of one of the Chargers moves because you ended up with Cooper from Chargers from Matt. And you gave him, I don't remember the entirety of that deal, but I know you gave him the 49ers receiver.
Ayuk, it was Justin Simmons, and I think it was a third round pick. So it
Okay.
ended up being like a first, a second, and a third for Amari Cooper.
Okay. Whew. God, I don't know. He's paying Emmanuel Sanders $20 million. He's got $28 million across 2 defensive ends. He's got another $10 million to Justin Simmons. I mean, he's got a lot of money tied up in a lot of middle-end players, but he can afford that because he's got like Eckler on a super cheap contract and Galladay on a super cheap contract and Kittle on a super cheap contract. So I guess he's got that luxury. But
Incredible.
yeah, those are 3 great pieces to have locked up forever, cheaply.
All right. Well, it's been about 15 minutes, and it's been a long day for me, and one that's starting at 4 in the morning tomorrow. So
All right.
I'm gonna cut things off, and we'll pick this up next week, I think, or week after, who knows. But good to get this going again. Chris, final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Hopefully we have a little more interaction next time we do it. Get some other people hopping on.
That's right. Fuck you guys. Pay attention.
That's right. Screw you all. We're not going to share this.
You all listen to our podcast and stuff.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Look forward to doing this in future weeks.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. See you guys.